All rise. The Honorable Justice Keith Nolan now presiding.
We're gathered here today to deliberate upon two competing approaches or methods for the process of designing and building information systems.
I submit to you that the fate of American preeminence, nay, the fate of the world economy, rests in your hands today. And I hope you make the right decision.
That though things move quickly and software moves at the speed of light today, people's minds and opinions haven't, the pace at which they can adapt those opinions and take in information has not changed.
So the time that a business spends in trying to get requirements perfect or nail down things to the last level of detail, they could build out 2 or 3 versions of the same product and look at actual customer feedback to see how it will perform. They no longer need to wait and pay that opportunity cost.
And ask yourself this one question, because I think that this is the pivot. Is it the method, or is it the madness of those who blindly apply methods that is the fault, that is the problem?
I submit to you that there is an alternative to Waterfall, and it is Agile.
If the glove does not fit, you must acquit.
The accused is charged with the following. 1 count of textual harassment for excessive documentation. 1 count of excessive force for committing process or kill. 1 count of negligent misrepresentation for setting expectations that it then fails to meet. And 492 counts of aggravated manslaughter through excessive means.
Jeff, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you Google?
I could. And how did the project proceed?
Oh, well, we've got like another 6 weeks of QA before we can ship anything, and then we've got like 2 more weeks to wait after that, because the ops guys only ship stuff on like the 2nd Wednesday of the 3rd month, and it's totally bogus.
The jury will know that although this man was hired to write code, he did not write his first line of code for between 2 to 3 months.
Could you consider perhaps that an email to a customer from someone with little experience working with customers, even if it's a small request for information, could be risky?
Yeah, that just sounds kind of bogus to me, bro.
Well, I know, clearly you do, and I appreciate that, but would it surprise you to realize, dude, that some of the very same companies that acquired your startups, like, you know, Facebook, Apple, Google, might be the same kind of companies that sometimes have these sort of control mechanisms in place and maybe have very front-end heavy product development. They do, you know, work groups, that large level of go-to-market strategy, big planning. You ever think that's possible?
Oh, no, I've talked to those Googler guys, man. They're pretty hip to that.
Well, I beg to differ. It's true. Apple will
Your Honor, badgering the witness, documentation and front-end work does not prove that it's Waterfall.
Apple produces lengthy requirements documents on new product ideas. This is a fact. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, let's go ahead and describe what you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis there.
Well, I'm a QA person, so developers are on the development cycle. I do the test cases, and when we enter the QA testing, that's when we do the testing. So it basically depends on which phase we are in.
And how long is the testing cycle within the overall project? For example, the project that the board is working on, how long was the QA cycle for that?
Well, that was a big project. So that was a 9-month project with a 6-week QA plan.
A 9-month project with a 6-week QA cycle. And what were you doing the rest of the time?
Well, we do the prep work. Like I said, we have a lot of time spent on prep work. There's a requirements document. I do my test cases. And when the requirements change, I update it. We cannot be
keeps you quite busy?
Yeah, no, it's reasonable. Sometimes the requirements don't change as much, and then I don't need to update my test cases either. So I get done early, and then I catch up on my cooking block.
What happens if you find an issue and you're stuck because it's a blocking issue? You still have to wait a week before you test it?
Well, it depends.
Okay, so there is the opportunity then for developers to go in. If there's a blocking issue, they can roll out a patch?
No, silly, no. No, we can't do that. Only the system engineer deploys the build.
The jury will note that the management in this case is blindly following what they think is the waterfall method. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you Godzilla?
I said it.
And what sort of business or organization do you find yourself doing business analysis in?
I work in a very high security focused sector that deals primarily with banking and financial institutions.
So fair to say that you might have extensive requirements that you write as a business analyst. They can get fairly complex, right?
Yes, that is certainly the case. We have a lot of upfront requirements we do due to the nature of our work.
Could you talk a little more about the nature of the work? Is there federal regulation?
Well, yes, due to being in the banking and financial sector, we have state regulations, federal regulations. There's a lot of compliance needs that we have to meet up front.
Right.
A lot of research goes into planning what needs to be done, and then of course we are in a very low risk sector.
I see. I see.
Low risk tolerant sector, I should say.
Sure. So would you say that the waterfall approach in these situations has adapted and worked well for you?
It has. It has. It's definitely something that works very well for us.
Tell me what happened when waterfall didn't go so well.
If you want to talk about being an unappreciated and unread author, become a VA. You will write many thousands of pages of unread documents.
I'm very sorry, Betty, to hear that this happened to you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, leading the witness. Proceed carefully.
Thank you, Your Honor. Not all change requests are created equal. Is that possible?
Yes.
Some are much easier and smaller than others.
Two, though. But what you're suggesting could possibly streamline the process.
Thank you. Have you read or heard about the lean startup?
Objection, Your Honor. He's leading the witness again towards lean startup. Last year, I understand you had a very large project and you chose to use this as a pilot for an agile initiative. How that worked out for you in this case?
Well, not as well as we had hoped. In fact, quite terribly. A waste of time.
Ah, a waste of time. Interesting. So, characterize for the court, if you would, the challenges that you had in moving to Agile. What was some of the dynamics there?
Well, you know, it's great in theory, everybody contributing, collaborating, almost like communism. Maybe that's why those Agile folks have a manifesto.
So your offshore team self-trained. Is that true?
Well, we sent them the information they needed. Agile is supposed to be easier than Waterfall, right?
Sure. The Agile rollout was itself not Agile. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that, you know, but they're contractors. We don't pay to train
No further
contractors.
questions, Your Honor.
That's why they're called
No further
contractors.
Objection!
You are.
I have no
Gathering the witness, Your Honor.
I'm not asking any more questions. I'm not asking.
You're not letting yourself respond. She's trying to get to the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Excessive force commits process overkill.
We find Waterfall not guilty.
Count 3. One count of negligent misrepresentation for setting expectations that fails to meet.
We find Waterfall not guilty.
Count 4. Cumulative. 492 counts of aggravated time slaughter through excessive meeting.
We find Waterfall guilty as charged.
Count 5.
Guilty.
Count 2.
Not guilty.
Count 3.
Not guilty.
Count 4.
Not guilty.
On the first count of textual harassment, we find Waterfall guilty.
Count 2.
Not guilty.
Count 3.
Not guilty.
Good. Count 4.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Count 3.
Not guilty.
Count 4.
Not guilty.
Count 1, guilty.
Count 2.
Not guilty.
Count 3.
Guilty as charged.
Count 4.
Not guilty, Your Honor.